Good morning, family. Hope everyone's doing well on this morning. We back at it again, man. After having had a small and a brief vacation, I must admit, man, I really enjoyed the time with my young ones. Needless to say, I came back with much lighter pockets. I can say that for certain, but I think that was their aim from the beginning, right? But yeah, we had a wonderful time. We visited some very nice restaurants, and I enjoyed myself. I was able to get some rest, going somewhere and enjoying yourself and not having to worry about the usual things that pop up, the usual issues. Yeah, that was very refreshing to me. So I'm energized and ready to go. I can tell from the response that you all enjoyed A Sister's Love. The story was the account of an orphan girl who was taken in by a family. And even though they were of different ethnicities, the love from that family propelled that young lady to be able to have a very nice life, stable. She was doing well academically. She was well loved. So the point of the story for me is that love comes from, a lot of times, it comes from a place and it looks different from what you would normally expect, from what anyone would expect. But when it comes, be open to it. Be open to it. It's always a wonderful thing to be able to say that a person showed you true love, what love was really about. And I'm happy to say that that particular point came through, and many of you all liked the video. So I'm grateful that the point was made plain. So now let's get to what really is on my mind, what really weighs heavily upon me. The last episode we did of Inner Work, I want to say it's 8A. But that episode talks about how a person, and because I'm a man and I deal with issues that are unique to men, I focused on how a man can be finally heard. And there were two main points in that discussion that I want to bring to the fore. I want to bring to your attention, okay? If you'll indulge me, I'll try to make this as concise as I possibly can, while at the same time trying to make sure that you get the point. Now, the first step in amongst those 6 steps that I want to highlight is when an individual comes to you, whether that's your brother, your cousin, or whoever it may be, and they express to you the difficulties that they're going through, the things that they're having to fight with. As men, we have the tendency to laugh it off. As was said in the podcast, we have the tendency to try to match the circumstances that they're talking about. Man, I'm having a difficulty at work because I'm having a disagreement with one of my coworkers, and then the person who you are talking to, they say, well, man, I have disagreement with my coworkers all the time. Just last week I had a disagreement with my manager. And so what you're doing, whether you know it or not, whether you understand it or not, is you are belittling or you are reducing the size of the issue that this brother has brought. Now, when someone takes the initiative to talk, especially if we know that this person isn't in the habit of just talking all the time and he's just needlessly rambling on, if this is not how he usually operates, if he's quiet, if he's focused, if he's determined to get to where he wants to be in life, if he comes to you and he has a difficulty and he wants to share it with you, you owe him the respect, especially if he's a friend. You owe him the respect of listening. Listen calmly without responding, without trying to minimize what he's going through, without trying to match what he's going through, without trying to laugh it off as a joke. Listen to what he's bringing to you. Allow him to fully express himself, because there may not be a lot of times in his life that he's able to fully express himself. But if he comes to you, that means that he values you enough to share with you the things that weigh heavily upon him. That's a privilege. When someone comes to me and they confide in me, then now I become a vault. Now, we talked about this one time before. We talked about my view of this. So it's a privilege to be able to sit there, calmly allow this man to express himself fully. And the reason why I say that more than ever now is because we are faced with an epidemic of our brothers, no matter what ethnicity they are, our brothers, because of the fact that they're not heard, because of the fact that they don't feel like they're appreciated. They're, as we talked about before, they're taking the alternative to life. They're taking the alternative to life. Now, I don't care if you are a multi-millionaire. I don't care if you're a billionaire. I don't care if you're a white collar, blue collar, whatever collar you are. I feel like, and I think it's a valid point, every human being has unique value. Every human life has unique value. And every human life brings something to the world that if they weren't present, we'd be lacking. There's some talent, some skill that an individual has. So they have some independent worth. They have some worth. It's not a situation where you're looking at anybody and saying, well, you know, we can do without him. This isn't a job where you get hired and fired. This is life. And so I think that it plays a pivotal role. Listening, being able to let that brother just unload, because he's talking to you, because he feels like you're safe enough to confide in. And one thing also that goes along with that, if he confides in you, if he tells you what weighs heavily upon you, then you understand that it's your responsibility to keep that confidence. If he's having difficulties, now it wouldn't be right. It'll be a betrayal to that particular individual if he told you something in confidence and you decided to take what he told you and spread it. So now you just violated that man. Okay? So that's the first point. Listen. Let him unload. Let him unburden himself. Because there are things that maybe he'll say to you that maybe he'll never get another chance in life to say. That's a very real danger. A very real danger. Because there's so many men that are walking around and they're so heavy on the inside. They're smiling. They may be productive at work. You know, they may be active at home. But in the inside, everything is heavy. And so we need to give them opportunity, man, to unburden themselves. Now, the next point. And I thought this was noteworthy, so I want to bring this point to the fore. If you want to be an individual who is heard, we're going back to this thought again, you need to listen, right? You need to listen. So, that very last point, in the illustration you saw the older man, the older gentleman, who may be a person who falls into the category where he feels that he's not heard. People are not listening when he's talking. His communication is not being well received. So if you feel like that's happening, then a wonderful step to take would be to become a better listener yourself. And we're not talking about just simply hearing. You notice how there's a difference between hearing and listening. Usually a person hearing is just gathering data. You ask them, they tell you, yeah, I heard what you said. They're gathering data. But a person who's listening they intend to act on what they heard, right? So sometime in the future, after you've listened to the difficulties that this person is going through, this young man, this older man, people in general, after you've listened to the difficulties that they're going through and that they've experienced, then that puts you in the position to do something positive, to try to assist them, to try to help them, so that those difficulties don't overwhelm them. See, that's the name of the game. The name of the game is, look, I help you, and we'll get through this together. And as men, you know, that's a wonderful thing. That's a wonderful ability to have. It really is. Because you understand that the things that you go through, you're not going through them by yourself. You have people that you can count on, people you can rely on, people that at the drop of a hat, you can reach out to them. And that's put in place because they can do the same thing when it comes to you. If they're in a difficult spot, they know they can talk to you. And not only can they talk to you, but they know that they'll be heard. They know that they'll be understood. They know that they can look at their situation and they'll feel better about it because somebody took the time to try to help them to walk through that situation. Not only to walk through it, but to try to find a way to come up with a plan, a solution to the difficulties that they're experiencing. And see, that's a wonderful thing. You know you would reach out to somebody like that. You'd always reach out to them because it's constructive. It's a situation that's helping you to become the best version of yourself, because the things that would normally weigh heavily upon you, you're able to get those things out. You're able to deal with them in a positive and a constructive way. And so that's going to make you a better person overall. It's going to make you a stellar man. Your manhood is going to develop at a rapid rate because you're dealing with all of the difficulties in a positive way, in a constructive way, and in a way that doesn't prevent you from making progress. See, that's where a lot of people, in my opinion, they get bogged down. They get bogged down. They have the tools to be good men. They have the tools at their disposal. But because of all of the pressures, all of the difficulties that come with being a good man, living a principled and an intentional life, all that pressure that comes with it, a lot of times you just simply get bogged down. You get bogged down. And that's another thing too, man, I want to say. Especially for my young men that are listening. I want to tell you, it's okay. It's okay. I want to tell you that it's okay to want to grow up, to want to be the head of a household. It's okay to want to provide for a wife and children. It's okay to be what you were created to be. It's okay to exhibit all of the best qualities that have to do with manhood. Nowadays, the very mention of manhood conjures up abuse in some people's minds. It conjures up mistreatment. But the very best aspects of manhood, and we're going to say them again because, you know, a lot of times people hear this and they think, okay, that's just podcast talk. But protection, provision, teaching, those are three of the best qualities that have to do with manhood. If that's what you aspire to do, I'm going to tell you it's okay. I'm encouraging you to do that. If you see yourself in the future with a home, with a wife and children, if you see yourself in the future working to provide a stable and a happy life for your wife and children, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That lifestyle is okay. That lifestyle is a lifestyle that, even though some people, when you see them, some people, they don't look positively on their particular choice. They think that somehow that's a life that's devoid of choice. That's a life where individuals can't choose what it is they want to do. They're subjugated to the whims and to the desires of someone else. And you'll come to find out that in regards to the lifestyles that people choose, a lot of times this traditional lifestyle is the best. It's the best. I've seen some people who choose to do things traditionally, and it doesn't go quite well, but the vast majority of people who choose to do it in the way that we describe, the husband, the wife, or children, and you got the husband and the wife working together to provide and make sure that the home is good, to make sure that everybody is in a positive state of mind. See, this is one of the things that you can do, and not only will it help you to progress in your manhood, but then it'll also help you to progress as far as your own personal growth. Yes, your manhood is a good thing, and I think that a lot of men they miss out on it because they separate the two. They separate the two. Your manhood and your personal growth are one and the same. And so when we come into a situation where we are actively trying to work on both manhood and our personal growth, see, now we're becoming better men in general. We're becoming better people in general. And in that situation, everybody benefits, because the better you become, then the better you can produce. And the better you can produce, the better those around you can benefit from the things that you produce. It's part of being a provider. So those 2 points: don't minimize the suffering and the difficulties of others, and then listen, actively listen, so a person can feel heard and appreciated. Well, I hope you enjoyed these points, and I hope that the rest of the week is wonderful for you. You know how we close this out. You know I love you. Peace.